meet some very beautiful women. I didn't have a lot of expectation. I just wanted to come and enjoy myself, like a vacation, really. I didn't expect to meet the lady of my life, but I think I have.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
From their architectures, their doctors, their makeup artists, they're from different parts and they're really serious to make a relation.
You were late.
Yes,
You had only 15 minutes of the social, but you managed to take, what, 16 numbers for that 15 minutes?
Yes. Even if this is war situation, there's less guys and more ladies, they are wanting to meet a man. So they're like hurrying up. So it's a good sign that you get to know more girls, you know.
I was nervous, very nervous.
The venue is not going to be
guys,
bigger.
welcome to our Monday night webcast. My name is John Adams, co-founder of A Foreign Affair, and I will be with you here for the next 60 minutes. Yes, me, not Anna. Anna, I could probably tell you where Anna is tonight. I think she'd be okay with that because she's a big football fan. You know, it just so happened that they're playing that game right here in our own backyard because of what's going on in LA, and one of her favorite teams, and I won't tell you which one, but it's involved. And so, yes, she kind of begged and pleaded with me. And no, actually, I love going on the show. So it's like, yeah, okay, fine, go. I will do the show. So here I am. And I am so happy to be with you tonight because we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into all the things that I want to discuss, I do want to talk just a little bit. I thought I said something. Just talk a little bit about what's coming up. We have lots of cool stuff happening here. Coming up here in Las Vegas on January 25th, we have our dating seminar, but it looks like it's sold out. So if you're not already RSVP'd for that, I do not believe you're going to be able to attend that one. But great to all the guys who are coming. You know, it's been a really, really great showing there, and we're looking forward to meeting all of you guys who RSVP'd. It'll be a great opportunity for you to meet myself, my wife, other employees here of AFA, other men who have used the service. There will be a lot of information being exchanged about how the group tours work and all that. It's going to be a great fun, a lot of fun. Great food, great environment. It'll be enjoyable. And it's Vegas. I mean, how can you go wrong? You'll be in Vegas. It'll be a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that on the 25th of January. But do not despair, because if you happen to miss that one, we have more coming, although I don't even see all of them that should be on the board here. What is going on with us? We do have one happening in Dallas on March 22nd and another one in Houston on March 23rd. So we have our Texas seminars coming up here in March. There's also going to be one in LA fairly close to that time frame. I'm not sure why it's not showing right now. I will go figure it out with the powers that be, but we'll be in LA as well right around that March time frame. So 3 more seminars coming up for you guys. Really looking forward to that. We have our Cebu tour going out on the 23rd of January. That too is sold out. So if you want to get on that, that's going to not be able to happen for this January tour. It is sold out. But we have Barranquilla coming up in February and Davao in March. So we got tours all over the board there. January 2025 is just starting. I know you made that New Year's resolution to make this the year that you meet that special someone, right, and start moving forward. And I know that we can help you with that. So let's keep that resolution. Don't be one of those quitters. I think Quitters Day was like this last Friday, where, you know, guys who or women who make their New Year's resolution and then they abandon it by, you know, third week or so in January. So don't do that. You know, this really should be the year. I say this every year. Guys, we've been doing this now for 30 years. This is our 30th year. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, and I've been saying this for a long time, but don't give up on this, right? And if you've been looking at it and looking at it, you know, this is the time to at least try to put yourself out there and make something happen. All right. All right. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so I'm going to get right into it. You know, most of you know about our service. You know who we are and what we do, but this is a very unique service. All right. There's really no one on the planet that's like us. I mean, when I say that, I really mean it. Many companies talk about, you know, how they're the best and all that, but we really are unique. We're kind of like a unicorn. Why is that? Well, first of all, we are both an online and offline service, right? Online and offline dating service. That separates us from many, many of the other companies out there. We have, you know, most of the other dating companies out there have the singular purpose to keep you on the site as long as possible for obvious reasons. Matchmaking and trying to get people together is really secondary to many of these larger dating sites or apps, both domestic and international. It really is. I mean, you know, they use the term stickiness and longevity and how long is that person going to be on there. But you don't hear them talking too much about marriages and matches and relationships being made. No, they just want to see how long they can keep you on the app, right? So keep that in mind when you're using the different apps out there. You know, we're different because we are both online and offline. Most men come to us via the online part of the site. Okay, that's fine. But then we're constantly pushing those guys to actually not use so much the online portion as much as use the offline vehicles, such as the group tours that we have to meet the women in person. Think about that for a minute. They come to our site, they're online, they're doing what they're doing, but then we're telling them, hey guys, if you're really interested, you need to get out there and start meeting the women in person and not just being the keyboard Romeos and just writing constantly on the site or doing, you know, whatever else, video calls and all that. I mean, you could do that till the cows come home, but that's never really going to get you anywhere as far as developing this relationship and moving forward with someone until you meet in person. It's so important, right? You know, and some people say, well, yeah, but you know, with your model, if they're successful, then you lose a client, right? Right, we do. We love to lose clients. Well, did you hear me right? Yes, I said that. We love to lose our clients because when we lose our clients, it means that they're successful. They met someone. And what happens then? Then they tell a friend, right? They tell a family member, hey, this worked for me. I just got a call the other day. It was really amazing. I'm driving in my car and I get a call from this guy and he says that he was referred by this woman who was at the same table where my wife was sitting when I met her at that social event almost 28 years ago. So 28 years later, she is giving a review to someone and telling him, oh, you should use this site. It worked for me. It worked for myself and my husband. I met my husband via this site. They're still married to this day. He told me her name. And I'm like, wow, that is so cool, right? I mean, and that happens all the time with us. We get a ton of word of mouth referrals in business. And that's what we're really after. So, all right. We're also the only company I know of that actually hosts dating seminars, trying to educate the men of the value of the offline part of our service and even trying to get them to stop or greatly reduce the reliance on the online part of it and, you know, stop doing as much correspondence, if any, and just go over and meet the women in person. It's not rocket science, guys. You know, as a matter of fact, I believe we're the only company that actually gives back a percentage of what is paid for the online part to use for the offline part, to take the tours or to meet the women that you are writing to and others, right? So that's really important, okay? And to that end, again, we're the only company I'm aware of that has multiple offices around the world and conducts, these type of group tours that we do, as well as individual tours or clubs, as well as just the one-on-one introductions. And we also offer executive service for those that want a very personal and expanded scope with an elevated level of professional matchmaking, even before you go over to meet the women. So we offer all these different services. And if you look at our site, there's just a ton of it out there. The service, again, also appeals to men who are just comfortable with just corresponding. Some men find value in corresponding, do not intend to travel to meet. If that's really the case, then that's fine. But if they change their mind, then we're here. And we're the first ones that will assist them in going over to meet those women in person. All right, so you can see that the service is huge. And it's grown a lot over the last 30 years. There's so much more than when we first started way back in 1995. We were the first full service international dating relationship site on the internet, going 30 years ago, right? And here we are today. And like a Frankenstein, we've grown. There's all kinds of different parts and pieces to us everywhere. But that's really cool. So what I really want to discuss tonight is expectations. Right? This site is so big and there's so many different ways to use it and so many different angles you can do. What are your expectations when you come to a site like this? Or even any other dating site? If you want to just answer to other dating sites, that's fine. Or you can be more specific to us. But what are your expectations when you use a dating site? Is it to have the opportunity to meet women that you may not otherwise have a chance or opportunity to meet? Is it to have experienced a new culture while you're meeting the women? Is it just to take a vacation and maybe have some fun and meet some wonderful people and have some great friends? Is it just to have a pen pal or two? You can see there's lots of different ways you can use this, and there's lots of different expectations one can have when looking at a dating service, especially ours. So, I know you guys are out there. Please feel free to answer that question. I'm going to get into all your questions and whatnot in a little bit here, but I do want to talk a little bit about expectations. All right, so I'm going to talk about myself first. I'm going to share this story. Some of you that are kind of regulars know this story, so I apologize, but I've only met my wife once, and so I just have this one story, so it does get repeated. But I think it's important to talk about because we're talking about expectations. So here I am. I'm at this social, right? And I'm leading the social, and I'm talking to the women like I always do, and I'm trying to make them feel comfortable, and the guys make sure everything's going well. And then I see this woman sitting at a table with 5 or 6 other women, and it's like my heart stopped. It's like my palms started sweating. She was, still is, but was the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen. And there was something about her. It's just the way she looked, those eyes, and that. Oh. So I got nervous, and I'm across the room. I'm at this social event, right, where men and women are supposed to be meeting, right? Supposed to be coming together for serious relationships, for marriage. That's what we do. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going over there. I had to give myself a little pep talk. I got a bottle of champagne. I had a good reason to go to the table, talking to the women. How you doing? Here, I hope you're having fun. Have a little champagne. And I got up to Tanya. I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm so glad you came tonight. And she looked at me and she said, I had a really bad day in real estate, and I really just came here to be with my friends, maybe drink a little champagne and dance. And I said, oh, okay. I gave her a little champagne and I walked away. Now, some guys, especially it seems like now more than even back then, might come up and say, John, she's a scammer. She's not interested. She doesn't have any intentions of really trying to meet someone because she told me that she's just here because she had a bad day. And she's just here to be with her friends and drink champagne. Why am I here at the social if this woman's not interested, right? And some men might think that. And my response to them is, hey, she's breathing. She's here. She is available. Yes, she's telling you that she's just here because she had a bad day and everything, but she's talking to you. Guys, it's up to us to make something happen. We're going to give you every opportunity possible. We're going to put you in great environments like the socials. We're going to put you in front of a large number of women who have told us that they're interested in meeting someone for serious relationships. But it's at the end of the day, it's really up to you to make that happen. There's only so much any dating service, including a foreign affair, can do. I was really, really enthralled with this woman. So I kept coming back. And yeah, I gave her a little bit more champagne. That probably helped. But I did keep coming back. And there was something in the way that she said it, right? You can read body language. You can read signals. And although she was telling me that she was just there because she wanted to dance with her friend, she had a bad day, there was more to it than that. If you really looked at her and you looked at the signs that she was giving. So I kept coming back. And I'll tell you, we had some of the most in-depth conversation after that social ended for hours afterwards, into the wee hours of the morning. And I knew right then and there that I was going to marry her. Now, imagine if I would have been the kind of guy who would have said, she's not interested, and just walked away. Then that never would have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. But whose fault would have that been? The company's fault, the woman's fault, or your fault? Sometimes we have to take accountability for what we're doing. And if you have that opportunity in front of you, make something happen. And we tell this to guys all the time. We just, all the time, if we see a guy kind of shooting himself in the foot by doing things that are against his best interest, right? Maybe he had a bad date. And so now he's going on other dates, telling the other woman about his bad date, or he's still in a bad mood from that bad date. Well, you're sabotaging yourself. Women don't want to hear that. Women don't want the negativity. They want that positive attitude. They want positivity. And so you really have to keep that in mind. And so if your expectation is to come to a social and have every woman, you kind of bow down and say, pick me, then don't come to our socials, because that's not what that's about. It's about giving you the opportunity to meet wonderful women and have in a wonderful environment and build healthy, natural relationships that hopefully lead to marriage, like mine did. We just celebrated our 25th year anniversary. My God, 26 is next month, right around the corner. 26 years, right? That's amazing. But that would have happened if I would have had a little bit of that negative mindset when she said those first words to me. And it works with the women too on this service. Women have certain expectations, right, of who they're going to meet and everything. And again, our matchmakers are there to help bridge that gap and help to persuade some of the women and get them past maybe some of the expectations they have. And a great example of that is a couple that just recently got married. And some of you know them, Joe and Marina. And we've talked about them before, but Marina didn't want to meet Joe. Joe wanted to meet Marina, but she originally did not want to meet him because of his age, because of his racial makeup, because of other things. She did not want to meet him. But again, we have matchmakers. And the matchmaker pushed her to at least start corresponding a little bit with him, which she did, and then pushed her to at least being open to meeting him. And she finally said, well, if he comes here during a war in Kyiv, I'll meet him. Well, guess what? He did. And she did. And now they just got married last week. That's pretty amazing. But it all comes down to expectations. It all comes down to your mindset and what you're really thinking. If it wasn't for us helping to change her expectations, because once she met him and she saw what a wonderful guy he was, you have to pay me later for that, Joe. Then her whole mindset changed, and she admits that now. She says, yeah, I feel silly the way I was thinking before, what my expectations were before, because it all changed, right? So this is real life. This is dating. And so, yeah, we'll get you up to bat. We'll get you the opportunity to meet some wonderful women. Probably women that you'd have a hard time meeting elsewhere. Maybe because of the age difference, maybe because of whatever. And yet we're working really hard to at least give everybody the opportunity to get in front of someone, right? Now, you may go out to dinner with her and she may not be interested. Fine. How often does that happen in the States? I mean, it's going to happen possibly. Does that mean that she's just not interested in anyone? Because that same woman may very well go out to dinner the next day and be totally interested in the guy and not even eat anything because she's so interested, right? So it really, really depends. This is chemistry. This is human beings coming together. And there's things happening at such levels we don't even understand when it comes to that chemistry that just click. And you just can't predict it. You just never know what's really going to happen. You can try. We do our best as matchmakers, but you never know what's really going to happen when it happens. I've seen couples marry that I never in a million years thought they would ever even be close to a good match. And yet all of a sudden, there they are, they're getting married. I'm like, what? But he said that he wanted everything the opposite of what she is. And yet now they're getting married. And I could tell you story after story after story of that. There's one that actually got married to one of our office managers from China. Never thought that was going to happen in a million years. But it happened, and we lost an office manager. All right, I'm going to get into a few of these questions here. We're going to talk a little bit more about these expectations. I have another story or two to tell. You know me, I always have stories. I like the stories. Can't do what we've done for 30 years and not have stories, right? All right. Ezra, hello, John, where's the Mountain Dew? Do I really need it tonight? Come on. I'm already getting out there a little bit passionate, preachy. I don't think I need the Mountain Dew. I'm trying to get off the stuff. But, yeah, you never know. Ezra saying, thank you, John, for telling me about Peru a while back. I see why Peru is one of your favorite places to visit. The tour was great. Staff was perfect, and I'm going back soon, as you know. Well, thank you so much, sir. Yes, the Peru, we like to joke that it's our best kept secret. I hate saying that because it really shouldn't be a secret, okay? This should not be a secret. I am here now talking to millions of people on this show tonight. And why is this still a secret? I don't know, but it shouldn't be a secret. All right, Julian. My answer to tonight's question is a company I can trust and looks after their clients and does not try to scam them or use their details for selling. Right there with you, Julian. And I hate that with the details for selling. We've never, ever even thought about that in 30 years, but I know there's companies out there that do it. All right. Boy, intention of using a dating service to meet someone, see if interest and feel connection, then ultimately see if there's an interest to meet for a longer time to see how it can go. Yeah. All right. I get that. That's good. Jeremy, this site does work. Married my beautiful Ukrainian wife last month. Yay. And I met her here on this site. That's a wonderful thing, Jeremy. Yeah, we've seen lots of marriages here lately. Well, we always see marriages, but quite a few just recently here. It's a wonderful thing. Let's see here. Stick with me, guys. We also, where are we? We're about 10 minutes away from a really, really good do's and don'ts video. All right? If you look, I know you're looking at me right now, listening to me. Yeah, that's not, but this video coming up, well worth the wait, okay? So you can put up with me for a little while longer. Then you can get to this video, and this video is great. And it's done, I believe it's Maria's in there. It's from Colombia, but they're talking about do's and don'ts. Because, guys, our matchmakers see it all. They see all the mistakes that you guys make and some of the women make, and they will do their best to tell you. Now, whether you take their advice or not, totally up to you. I can remember a case not too long ago where I got a call from a client who was on one of our tours, and he was very upset that the matchmaker was giving him advice on things like what to wear and what not to wear, more importantly, and kind of what to say and maybe age range and things like that. And he was very upset that we were giving him this advice. He was a grown man, he said, and that he didn't need that kind of help and that kind of advice from anyone. Well, okay, I get it. Look, we weren't dictating to him what he must or must not do, but we were giving him advice of what would be in his best interest to do or not do. And there's a difference between that, right? You don't have to take our advice, but, like if you're going to, file your taxes, or let's say that you're on trial for murder, wouldn't you want to take your advice of your attorney or the CPA? I know one's a little bit more extreme than the other, but in either case, I'd want a professional guiding me through those two incidences and making sure that, I come out on the other end either with my life or paying less than my tax. Whereas in this case, yeah, neither one's really that extreme, but if you have a professional matchmaker there giving you that advice, it might behoove you to listen to it a little bit. Again, everyone's different. You don't have to take it. I've given advice. No one ever listens to me. How many times do I come up here and say no one ever listens to me, right? So I get it. You're going to make your own mistakes. You're going to go your own way, and that's fine. But one of the things you're paying us for is for some advice, and we do our best to give that to you. All right. Let's see where we are here. Harari says, from your source, I want guidance, honesty, and empathy. Well, we do our best to give you all three of those. And that is really important. You know, I would like what I get as well. So, yeah, whenever you're using our site and you don't think you're getting any of those, then please let me know. Call us and either let me know or Liz or one of us, and we'll do our best to rectify that. But you should be getting those. I like that. We're getting some good questions, or good answers from that question here tonight. All right, let's see here. Julian says, and women that have been vetted, who are also honest and truthful in their intentions, single and ready for a relationship, who won't play mind games. Okay, so Julian, that's interesting. And when you say vetted, you hear that word a lot, vetted. What does vetted really mean, right? I mean, I don't know, you could have them do like an FBI background check and all this stuff. We don't do that. We don't do criminal background checks on the women. We don't do criminal background checks on the men. We do ask the men for a criminal and marital background history, right? And we do a sex offender check on the men. But with the women, you know, for 30 years, we've never done a criminal background check on them. And in 30 years, we've had very little issues that I can even think of with the women on our site. I mean, there are some from time to time they'll pop up. Now, if you're going to marry someone and do a fiancé visa, the government will normally does do a criminal background check on the woman before she comes, because there's certain things that would prevent her from doing a fiancé visa. And in 30 years, we've never had a woman that was denied a fiancé visa. But when the women do join the site, unlike a lot of other sites and apps where they don't look at anything when you talk about vetted, we do look at certain things like government IDs to make sure of their age, to make sure that they are who they say they are. We do call and talk with the women to make sure they understand what the site is like. We do look at their photos and whatnot to make sure that maybe they're not on adult sites, things like that. So there are quite a few things that we do. It takes about at least a week, if not 2 weeks, for a woman's profile to actually go live on our site because of the work that we do. But again, if she says that she's, let's say, a doctor, we don't go out and make sure that she's a doctor. If you say you're a doctor, we don't go out and make sure that you're a doctor. These are things that we hope that, you know, the majority of the men and women using the site are honest about. And we found in the last 30 years, by research, because now we have 30 years of data, that most of the men and the women are honest about what they're saying and what they're doing. Of course, you're going to have some that are playing games, both on the female and male side. And I think that's going to happen on any dating site out there. But I think we do a great job, probably better than just about anybody else out there, when it comes to knowing who our members are on the site and assisting them when they meet, so we don't have issues and problems like you find on a lot of these dating apps when the men go to meet the women and find themselves getting drugged, getting kidnapped, or God forbid, getting killed. And that's been happening in Colombia now, unfortunately, on some of these dating apps. Not with us. Why? Because we know who the women are. We have their government IDs. We talk with them. We have relationships with them, so that when you come and we set it up, you're not meeting someone in a dark alley who happens to be someone else, then you have a problem. So that's one of the reasons our site is so good when it comes to that kind of thing. All right. Let me keep going here because we're getting close to when this video is going to be coming on. Da, da, da. So, Terrence says, the ultimate goal for using a dating service is to find that great feminine woman to marry. I like that. Okay, that's good. Passport King says, for your executive account package, is there a set limit on the number of women that can be met within that year? So for our executive service, we really try to narrow it down to about 10 women that you're going to actually ultimately go over and meet based on all the work that we're going to do for about 3 or 4 months before you go. Because then what's the point of doing an executive service? You're going over to meet 20, 30, or 40 women. Then you might as well just go on a group tour, because that's a wonderful thing. You're going to meet all kinds of different women there, and that's fine. That's how I met my wife, was on a group tour. But if you want to do an executive service, the idea of that is to do our best in matchmaking, pre-matchmaking, before you go over, to try to find the best possible candidates to meet, so that when you get there, you're already meeting the best possible candidates that we can find. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So, let's see here. Neosine Jean says, I'm having my first video call with a woman in Ukraine I've been communicating with since November. Very excited for it. Very cool. And November's not too bad. That's only like a couple months. So that's okay. But don't be doing it for another, 2, 3, 4, or 5 months. Let's do the video call, talk about how we're going to meet, and then go and meet and make something happen. Go on the tour. I don't know where she's from. Oh, Ukraine. Great. We have a tour coming up in the Ukraine. You can jump on that tour, go meet her and others. Or maybe she comes out, meets you in Poland. I know there's a war going on there right now, so there's stuff happening. But there's ways to make that happen. I hope it goes well for you. Chris says, just booked a Euro Club tour for March in Kyiv. I'm very excited. Well, there you go. So Chris is going, and he's going to meet women when he's there. So, yeah, I love that. That's wonderful. Let's see. Passport King says, having one, I think he means to go over and meet, is insane. It's best to have a top 10 or top 20 or top 30 or top 40 and narrow down from those options to find out who the best compatible partner is. Yeah. And even when you start like what we just talked about with the executive, you're usually starting with way more than that and then narrowing that field down. And I got a little secret for you guys. You're not the only ones doing the narrowing. The women do the narrowing too. Don't tell them, but yeah, of course they do. So they're going to be narrowing the field down. You're going to be narrowing the field down. And by the end of the day, if everyone's doing their job right and everything, you should have some really great candidates to meet. And then when you go on but if you do like a group tour, then you're doing that in real time. You're meeting the women there in that one city and you're narrowing it down. The executive is a little bit different because the scope of that is so much larger. We're talking about either everywhere we go, which encompasses Latin America and Asia and Eastern Europe, or one of those regions, which is still a huge number of profiles, whether it's Eastern Europe, Latin America, or Asia. So that's why it takes months before you're even ready to go over, because it's just such a large scope we're dealing with. We're just throwing geography right out the window, totally. Yeah. All right. Let's see. U.S. citizens have the IMBRA that we got to abide by, but that actually works in our favor. It lets a foreign lady know we ain't ex-cons, felons, or wanted by Interpol. I believe that's true too. I really do. I mean, I think that they should make domestic matchmaking companies do IMBRA too, and let everyone know, hey, I'm Charles Manson. You want to date me? That kind of thing. But they don't. They just make these laws for you guys that are ambitious enough to expand your dating horizons outside the U.S. borders. And because of that, well, there must be something wrong with you, right? And so that's why they enacted that law. And so, yeah, because when the Justice Department actually did the study, they found that there was more incidents of spousal abuse among domestic couples than intercultural couples. Interesting, huh? Yeah. They didn't expect that, but that was the result they got. That was the empirical result they got. But the subjective result they got from the psychologists was, yeah, well, just because the numbers say that, it's going to be more among this other population. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. I'm getting a little skeptical myself here. CG, if there are problems with women on the site, you need to report it to AFA and let them look into it. I know for a fact that AFA has removed women that were not truthful. From Cody. Thank you, Cody. Thank you. And it's true. We do. And to be fair, we also remove men from the site that let's say, have not acted appropriately. And same with the women. We're equal opportunity removers, right? And so that's going to happen on both sides of it. Let's see here. Question to John. How does it work, and is there any guidance post-tour from matchmakers how to proceed? Oh, yeah, there's always guidance post-tour, especially if you're talking about the executive. I mean, you become just like connected at the hip with the matchmaker that you're using, or what we call the personal consultant on the executive service. I mean, you and her are working hand in hand for months in a very emotional roller coaster type service where it's ups and downs and everything happening until you're really ready to go over and meet those women that you identified as being the best possible women. And then during the process, you're talking with her and getting insight and advice. And then after the process and, during the courtship process, yeah, we'll still help you with advice and everything. And even after marriage, we still get calls from the men and the women talking about things, and we've actually helped quite a few couples after they've been married to smooth over some problems. A lot of it has to do with cultural problems that people just didn't realize what was going on in the marriage, mainly because of a cultural perspective. And we were able to step in and shed some more light on that, and it's really helped. So yeah, we do a lot of that. No doubt about it. All right, we are at the point where I want to bring in the matchmaking experts and let them talk about the do's and don'ts. And guys, they just didn't come up with this on their own, right? This is something that they've lived with, they've experienced over years, and they're sharing with you. Why reinvent the wheel? Don't do that. Listen to what they're saying, learn from others, and take advantage of it, right? Learn, that's how we grow. So listen to this, and I'm sure you're going to get at least one or two points that you can use and use it. All right, let's see what they have to say.
Me and Manuela, my colleague from Medellin, we're going to give you a couple of tips today so that your experience is going to be even more successful.
Prepare for dating before travel. Your dating profile is very important. Update your profile and send your matchmaker between 5 to 7 different professional pictures of you. If it's possible, no selfies, no sunglasses, and no hats. Look at your profile description you have on the website and work on it. Make sure these profiles represent you in the best way possible to get more dates and have advance of the ladies that are interested in you. Take a look at your closet. Come with new, clean, and modern clothes. One tip: women love thoughtful men. Bring some small gift from your hometown to the girls. Can be magnetics, chocolate, teas, snack for future one-on-one introductions. Be clear about what you want, to be realistic and come with an open mind. Prepare for the country you travel to. You should know some basic things about the country you want to meet your future partner. Things like, capital, some geography, cultural habits, some word in their language. What they love. You are dating, remember this. Look at the clothing style of the country. Dress accordingly with business casual. You are well dressed everywhere. It's better to overdress a bit than underdress. And remember, if you have questions, reach out of us. Check visa, airline, and custom requirements before your travel. Other things very important to have in mind are the next things. First, teeth. Try to have clean teeth and be very careful with a bad smell. Second one, for the greatest probability of success, short, clean, and organized hair is the key. Beard. Be careful with long or big beards. The girl here doesn't see it as common as maybe in your native country. Nails. Give maintenance before the trip, especially the feet. Short and clean. A small but important detail of image. There are good and cheap nail salons around these offices, so ask the matchmaker about places where you can go. Personal smell is very important to smell good. It doesn't matter if you don't wear cologne, but please take care of your personal smell. Relax and have fun. Don't take everything so serious. When you travel, things can go different, and with foreign dating, even more. Airplane change, women don't show up or run late to the dates. Try to go with the flow. Traveling and dating is challenging. Stay calm. Travel with enough time ahead. Check customs and airline requirements. If things go wrong, tell immediately to our staff and your matchmaker. Everybody is here to help you navigate it upcoming challenges. Stay focused and be realistic. You will see you will have a lot of different dating options. Know why you came here in the first place, and don't get distracted. I repeat, don't get distracted. Just because you want to do something means you should. If woman is not interested in you, don't take it personally. Choose women according to your age, and look, ideal will be maximum difference of 50 years in men up to 50 years old. Don't be guided only by women's psyches. You must remember the woman in your role and life. What kind of woman are you looking for? Communication is the key. Prior to the tour, during the tour, after the tour. Be open and communicative with the AFA staff, the matchmaker, your dates, and the woman you might stay in touch with afterwards. Constant, nice attention and communication is required in dating and a successful long-term relationship. Technology and translation apps make it so much better and easier nowadays to communicate with your future partner.
So the last to do is really, guys, it's important to have a long-term plan. It's not just you come here once and that's it. Like, you're going to have to establish that relationship with her. So you have to include her in the plans. You have to communicate with her what you want, what she wants, and really establish a plan when you can travel and to see her again. Also keep in mind, have your finances clear. Traveling and also foreign dating costs money. It's not for free. So as you require to travel more often, obviously you have to have a plan how to pay for those travels and also how to maintain the relationship long term. Let's come to the don'ts. Guys, it's very important if you sign up for this tour to have clear this is not a sex tour. This is a tour where we help you to meet a woman. Most of these women who signed up with us are looking for marriage, long-term relationship and family. They are not just here to have fun and just go and whatever, right? It's not a sex tour. So please keep that in mind. If you go on a date, don't ask her for sex. If you go on a date, please don't get touchy, like just going there. If the woman likes you, she will give you the signs, and usually it takes a couple of dates until she's there. So please keep that in mind, because our women are looking for a serious man who's oriented for a long-term relationship. And in case the woman asks you, for example, for sex, or she drags you to the room or asks you for money, please let us know. We're going to review the case. We're going to remove the woman, because we want for men and women, this to be a very safe dating space. The next don't is to be arrogant or to have a superior attitude. Just because you come from a first world country doesn't mean you know more, you're better than anybody else. This is a new country. Be curious, learn about the culture, and just be open to learn new things. The men who are most successful in dating in general here in Latin America and in Colombia are men who are fun, confident, secure of themselves, thoughtful, respectful. If you're always serious and not smiling, it's not going to get you anywhere. Try to become your best self, have fun, just try to relax and just have a good time. The women love that. They love to connect, they love to laugh, they love somebody who makes them laugh and really treats them like a special person, like a special lady. Do not expect everything the same as at home. You are in a different country. Things will be different. And focus on the good, focus on the positive. But obviously it can happen that the taxi driver charges you more, the taxi is dirty, the hot water doesn't work, the woman comes late. So all those things can happen. So just try to have the best attitude. Realize it's not your own country. You dated in a different country for a reason. So focus on the positive and just take it as it is. And if the woman comes late to a date, don't take it personal. It's not because she doesn't like you. It's just part of the culture. So try to take it not too serious. Just wait for her. It's part of it. Believe me, even Colombian men have to wait for their woman all the time. So it's just cultural. Leave politics, money and religion out of the first conversations. It's going to get to discussions. You're not going to have the same opinions necessary on those topics. So just leave it out on the first dates. You can later on get back to that. Next very important tip is really do not fall in the dating trap. What is the dating trap? The one where you never choose. You're going to have a lot of options. You're going to meet a lot of different people, which is great, right? We want those options, but it's also important to make a choice after a while. You don't have to choose her right away after the first social. In fact, I don't recommend you skipping the first social. Go to the 2 socials. But if you dated her for a couple of weeks and you feel it's like a good woman, then focus on that woman. And don't just, oh, next one, oh, I'm going to the next 2 and I'm going to the next date and the next and the next and the next. Yes, there will be always a next. Yes, there are more options, but it doesn't mean it's a better option. So just focus on the one who you think she's compatible with you and do that. And don't fall in this trap of repeating and repeating and more and more and more, because more isn't always better. Also, very important point, do not spend money like crazy on her, especially if you just met her. It's the same thing. You know, dating, it's a process. And you know, with the process, obviously more benefits come. So if she wants a little gift, or if you want to give her a little gift, that's obviously totally fine. But don't buy her an iPhone, don't buy her an apartment, don't buy her a car. You know, don't do these things. If she wants money on a monthly basis, it depends when is the relationship, where you are at in the relationship. Talk to your matchmaker, talk to us and ask us for advice, especially when it comes to money, especially to that, because it's very difficult. There are different cultures, different expectations, but it's a very fine line of what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And we want her to love you for who you are and not of what you can provide. That is very important. Just a quick tip, which gifts are okay? Chocolates, roses, spa treatments, nails, hairdresser, all those little details, a little letter, some sneakers, a t-shirt, like all those things, some earrings, all those things are fine. But as I said, iPhones, houses, apartments, all that, please, once you get married. So another very important tip is don't always go for the most sexy woman, the most like plastic surgery woman. Like, be realistic. This is not a fantasy. You have to, if you think long term, you want to bring her back home, and she has to fit in your life. So be realistic about it. And also, do not date too young. Obviously you can do it. There's a lot of possibility to date younger, which is fine. 10 to 15 years is a great, we have seen a great age difference, which works out very well. But if you go in more, like higher and younger in age, or more age difference, it's going to cause you more problems in the long term.
So guys, remember, those are the tips for the tour. We hope this video was helpful for you. We are waiting in Colombia and all over the world to help you to find your special partner.
I had such a wonderful experience with AFA. It really changed my life. I met the woman of my life. It's wonderful. You men should come here to Cartagena, Colombia, and where your dream woman will be waiting for you.
Hola, bella. Yo conseguí el amor de mi vida en AFA. Se lo recomiendo 100%. El amor existe.
All right. That was a lot of information, guys. But I think there was really good information there. I know, I think Marcus just said, just a response to the tips. Sounds like a lot of work for a vacation. Yeah, if it was just a vacation, I could see that, but this isn't just a vacation for most of the men. This is a vacation that may very well change your life forever. I mean, you may meet that one that really may change your life forever. So it's much more than just a vacation. These tips are tips. I think it's good advice, not just for here, but a lot of this advice can be used for dating domestically as well and may serve you well. Now, some of this you may not agree with, and that's your prerogative. That's fine, but we're just trying to let you know that if you listen to this, you may have a smoother time. It may work a little better. Let's take the age difference that she was talking about for a minute. Yeah, 10, 15 years, okay, that works out really well. Even 20 years can work out well, okay? You start going, 25, 30, 40 years age difference, you're statistically, it's just the fact. Your risk goes up, right? And so it's just going to be more difficult for you as well. Part of that depends on where you are, but if you are in a place like Colombia or Ukraine or China, yeah, that age differential, 10, 15, maybe 20, you're going to be okay. You start going much over that, and I've said this for years, then just be advised that that risk level is going to go up. some places are a little bit more tolerant and more elastic when it comes to age differential, like the Philippines, right? So you can go there, and a 25, 30-year age difference is much more doable than it is in other areas. That's just how it works, right? And some of the things they talked about may be a little bit different in some of the other cultures, but in general, most of it's pretty universal. So I would pay attention to what they were saying. These women are professional matchmakers. That's what they do. That's what they get paid for and have been paid for many, many years. And so they've helped a lot of you guys get married. I mean, a lot. There's a video, I don't know if they've got that done yet, but part of our 30th year here that we're doing videos of all the different weddings and things like that. And there are just a boatload of engagements and marriages that have happened just in the last year. So pay attention to what they're saying. They know what they're doing. All right, let me get back to a couple of your questions, and I got another little bit on the expectations thing. Where are we here? Gary, I did not know what to expect given the world situation. I've been corresponding with a woman from Dnipro, had a recent wonderful video call. This is all starting to feel real impossible. Well, Gary, it is real impossible. And Dnipro is not the easiest place to get to right now. I really wouldn't probably recommend going to Dnipro, although I've had guys go to Kharkiv, which I really wouldn't have recommended going to, and they did that. But again, I told you no one ever listens to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if you do decide to meet, maybe she can meet you outside of Ukraine somewhere, or maybe at least meet you in Kyiv or something where it's probably a little bit safer overall. All right. Let's see. Don. It'd be good to get Tanya's view on the last 25 to 26 years together of you both being married in business life. Well, Don, come to Vegas because she's going to be there talking. She loves to meet you guys in person. We were just here on Saturday, or last Saturday, for 5 hours with a client. She's helping with the executive service, and she was just in Cleveland and Chicago at the seminars, answering all kinds of questions. But she really likes meeting you guys in person. So please come to Vegas. She can meet you there. Hopefully you're already RSVP'd though, because that's sold out. Or Houston and Dallas are wide open, or LA. And yeah, Tanya's great. She tells it how it is, and she answers all kinds of questions from you guys. All right, Chris, I just booked my club tour last week. Yay, Chris! Where's my thing? I'll just applaud myself. When should I expect AFA to reach out to me for information on travel and other things? Well, you should have gotten some kind of notice already that we received your order. Someone mentioned to me that someone booked a tour for like 10 months from now. So that's a little bit out there. So you probably won't hear from us about everything, at least for another 8 months or so. But if it's coming up soon, then you should hear from us very soon. So, Chris, just call in and ask for Anna. Anna's the one that's going to be in charge of your group tour, or your club tour. So she'll be the one that's going to be giving you all the forms to sign and getting you all set up. She's basically your conduit between our AFA office here in Phoenix and the people you're going to be working with wherever it is you're going. But you will have a wonderful time, Chris. You're going to be doing date after date after date, meeting all kinds of wonderful women. So congratulations. Chris is no longer going to be a keyboard Romeo, if he ever was, and he is going to go over and meet wonderful women in person. See, this is the multifaceted part of our site. You can do some of this or some of that, all kinds of different vehicles on this site. Really is kind of cool. Alrighty then. I want to get back to some of the things I was talking about as far as the expectations and whatnot. And here's another story about someone that went on the tour with very low expectations, hardly any expectations. Matter of fact, he was pushed to go on this tour, and some of you know this story as well. Name was David, was pushed to go on the tour by his family because he had lost his wife, lost his daughter, was depressed. They were really worried about him. He really didn't want to go, but they really talked him into it, almost like an intervention, and got him to go on that tour. And he had really no expectations. He really just didn't even want to be there, didn't want to be anywhere really. And again, actually, Joe's make his way into this story too. Geez, too many Joes. But the tour leader, Joe, was on that tour. That tour was going to Kyiv and Poltava. And they did the social in Kyiv. They convinced him to go to the social at least, and he went, but he didn't really engage, didn't really participate, because again, his expectation was like, nothing's going to happen. Why am I here? It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen for me. It could happen for other people, he admitted, but nothing going to happen for him. So he was pretty much staying in his room, not doing much, and the group was getting ready to leave to Poltava, and he was not going to go. He was going to stay in Kyiv and just hang out at the hotel. And Joe talked him into going to Poltava. Pretty much forced him to go to Poltava. I'm not even sure if it's legal, but he got him to go. Got him on the bus, got him to go. So goes to Poltava, goes to the social, again, not very active, not very engaged, but he did meet a woman there. And that woman also had gone through similar things like he had. And they had that in common. And then they kept talking, and he actually started to get a little hopeful. His expectations started to change just a little bit. Not totally, but a little bit. And she really liked him. And they spent some time together the next day. Then the tour had to go back to Kyiv, and he went back to Kyiv. Then he went home, and he didn't call her. But she called him. And she asked him, why are you not calling me? What is the matter with you? And they started talking. And she talked him into coming back to Poltava. And then they got to know each other more and more. And then they got engaged. And then they got married. And she had 2 little daughters when they got married from a previous marriage that ended in kind of the same way his did. And then they actually had a child together. Another daughter, I believe. That story does not have a wonderful ending either, because unfortunately he actually moved to Poltava, and they were living together in Poltava, and then that wonderful thing called COVID hit, which nailed him, got him, and unfortunately he passed away. And he was a wonderful guy, and it was a terrible loss, actually. But that story is an amazing story, and it's so inspirational, because he really, at that point, before all that happened, had thought his life was over at that point. And it wasn't. He had so much more to give, and now there's another little child in this world because of that. And his expectations were nothing, and nothing's going to happen. But because, again, of the environment that was created, because, again, of the matchmaker and everyone doing what they were doing to help that client, to get him up to bat, to make something happen. And it did, And so, look, am I sitting here telling you that every guy that goes on this tour is just going to have the best possible time? He's going to meet someone, it's going to be magic, and going to live happily ever after and all that? Of course not. I would never say that. You don't know what's going to happen. You may go and just have a good time. You may have a great time. Chances are you're going to have at least a good time, right? You got to work at having a bad time, because there's so much going on that you really do. I mean, some guys can manage to do that, but the vast, vast majority will have a good time. And most will have a great time. And some will find that this tour changes their life forever in some way, whether that's marriage or a change in attitude or all kinds of different things that happen from this, right? So, but I'm not telling you that, just sign up, put your $475 deposit down, and your life will be changed forever. Absolutely not. And again, why? Because I can't say that. All we can do as matchmakers, as the company, is provide you with an opportunity, right? Provide you with that chance to get up to bat at these socials, or because of a one-on-one club tour like a gentleman just told us he was taking, or an executive service, whatever vehicle you choose to use with us. We will do our best to get you up to bat, to get you in front of those women that you want to try to get in front of. But then you got to turn on your charm. You got to use that game. You have got to make something happen. You ever hear that phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? Well, we can lead you to where you're going to have the best possible opportunity to meet these different women. And you will when you go over. But then it's up to you to really make it happen. And if you're going to let little things like, well, I just came here because I had a bad day in real estate and I just want to be with my friends and, dance. If you're going to let that stand in your way from actually making something happen with that woman who said that at that night, then it's probably not going to work as well for you, because you have to get past that, right? And that might mean going to a matchmaker who will be at your side that whole night at these socials and asking her, is that really true? Do you really think she's not interested? And that matchmaker will tell you, no. If you're really interested, let's go and talk to her again. Let's see what's really going on, right? She will help you. You will have so much assistance like you've never had before in any dating scenario on one of these, right? And these matchmakers want to help you. They're eager to help you. Eager, there's a word you don't hear very much anymore, but they will be eager to assist you and help you, and they get pleasure out of it. I've had matchmakers tell me how happy they were that their guy hooked up with this woman, and now they're engaged and getting ready to get married, right? And they feel that they were a little bit responsible for that, and they probably were. And that's wonderful, and that's what this is all about and why you come here, all right? So keep that in mind, guys. You can, the guys that are going to make every excuse in the world, why it can't work, why it doesn't work, oh, this is bad, this is terrible, oh, that's awful. Yeah, you're probably going to have a tougher time. The guys who have a really good attitude, who just look at it and say, hey, I'm just going to take it for what it is. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to meet women and all that and take advantage of the opportunities as they come my way. Those guys usually do pretty well. And but it's common sense, right? This isn't rocket science. I said that earlier. All right. I'm getting in my preach mode. I got to stay out of preach mode. I told these guys to put this little electrical thing on the seat, and every time I start preaching, zap me. So I haven't done this yet. I haven't gotten zapped yet, but we really should do that. Because sometimes if you really want to see me in preach mode, come to one of the seminars because, man, we get going there. It's like a revival. It's fun. I mean, we talk about all kinds of things, and I'm not just preaching. There's other guys that are there talking, and it's a wonderful experience. If you've never been to one of our seminars, it's fun. I get guys, I'm telling you, we get repeat guys that come to these seminars all the time. Some of these guys have been to our seminars like 3-4 times. They know my jokes. They know my lines. They know my opening line. They know my quote from Mark Twain because I've been saying that for 30 years. And it's a great quote, and I'm going to keep saying it because it resonates so well. But it's funny because I'm like, okay, get ready for the quote. Oh, yeah, I know the quote. But why do they keep coming to the seminars? Why? Because it's a sense of community. It's what we do. We've been doing it for 30 years. And there's this kind of community built around it now. And it's really cool. And so they come and they'll make other friends now, new friends. They'll see old friends sometimes at the seminars that will come. Sometimes what happened with Cody. I don't know if you're still watching there, Cody, but I mean, he had gone to seminars before, and he just came to a seminar with his wife and his newborn daughter. I think it was only 2 or 3 months old, and they drove from Indiana to come to Chicago to be at that seminar just to be able to share, just to be able to talk about his experience. And he did, and he was great, and he gave some great advice to the guys. But we didn't pay him for that. We didn't ask him for that. He actually asked us if he could come. I mean, there's not a lot of businesses that will get people to do that, to drive all that way just to share their experience with others. So I feel very lucky and blessed that we have clients out there like that. It really is amazing. No, again, I'm preaching a little bit like a really got to stop. Oh, there's Cody. So he is watching. Well, good. Thank you, Cody. That did mean a lot, by the way. I mean, you took that time and effort with your wife, wonderful, beautiful wife, and your child who's so lucky that she looks like your wife and not you. I told him that, so it's okay. She's beautiful, really, really beautiful. And Cody's great. So yeah. Cody, he said, John, I know what you were talking about. It took me 6 socials to finally meet Olga. You remember all this. I do remember all this. Yeah, absolutely. So, Don says, I'll call you later today if you're in the office. Don, it's going to be close to 7 p.m. I'm not going to be in the office, so no, don't call. But you can try calling me tomorrow, and I'll be happy to talk with you. Yeah. All right, guys, we are about at the end of our little deal here. Jeremy did, Miss Jeremy did say it still takes about a minimum of 1 year to process the K-1. Then you have to start the process for the green card. Yeah, another minimum of 1 year. But at least she's there while you're doing the process for the green card. I know my son just went through that. And during that time, you get that advanced parole, Jeremy. So if she does have to leave for something, she can leave and come back while they're still processing that. green card. But yeah, it does take time. There is that Unite for Ukraine program, but that's a different can of worms that we can always talk about if you ever get to that point. All right. Michael says, I wish that this website was free. In today's world, no one has money for these dating sites. Yeah, Michael, I get it. I wish that restaurant I went to yesterday was free too, because those restaurants are awful damn expensive too. It's just the way it is. I mean, everybody's got to get paid for what they do. I wish it was free too. I wish the hosting company that we use for the website would give it to us for free. And all this other stuff that we're doing right now was for free. And these guys back here, I wish they'd work for free. But they're not going to do that because, they got families to feed and everything. But we're all doing wonderful things together to help, I think, which is one of the most important things you'll ever do in your life, right, is to meet that special someone. So, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of resources, seriously, to do what we do, to keep the lights on, to keep everyone happy, to make this really work, to give you this opportunity just to tap into, just to connect to, and then, make something happen. And unfortunately, that costs money to do, and the only way we could do it is by, I guess we could try setting up a GoFundMe page, but I don't know how far we get with that. So this is what we've been doing for 30 years, and it's worked pretty well for those guys that see the value in it. So, yeah. All right, guys. CG, no, I refuse. I have a line, and I'm not going to cross the line. I'm not going to say what the Mark Twain quote is. The only way you can find out what the Mark Twain quote is to go to a seminar. You must go to the seminar to find out the quote, because it is the best quote he's ever done. And it is totally resonates with what this is. Now, Cody, because it's you, and because you actually went on all these tours and you met your wife, you will get a pass, but you will have to call me. I cannot just give it out in public. I just can't, because then no one will ever come to a seminar again. We can't do this. I do have my principles. So, yeah. Wait, one other one. I keep trying to, you guys keep asking. John, are the interpreters considered the matchmakers? I don't remember matchmakers helping during the social. Yes, so you have the interpreters who are helping you, guide you through that process. So they are matchmakers. Now, are they the ones that are going to be working with you if you do like an executive? Probably not, because they're not working all the time, but they're absolutely positively helping you all night. Now, maybe when you did the social, we weren't doing that, because at some point we didn't have matchmakers, interpreters assigned to the guys for 4 or 5 hours. But these women, especially the ones that have done it over and over again, which are basically the ones that we use, are really good at what they do. And they're good at guiding you, helping the conversation when you're kind of stuck at the table talking to different women, getting phone numbers for you, setting up dates for you, doing all these things for you. They're fantastic. And yes, they're every bit of a matchmaker of anyone else you would use. Now, when you start doing higher level matchmaking, like with the executive service, then you're going to use someone who's probably got close to 15 to 20 years experience of that, is who you're working with when you get to that level. Okay, so that's a little bit of the difference there. All right, I'm going to go before you guys start asking me any more really personal, high-tech. That's like asking McDonald's for their secret sauce. Kind of, I guess. If you go to McDonald's, you still don't really know what the secret sauce is. If you go to a seminar, you figure it out, so I guess it's a bad analogy, but close to it. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I love doing these things. I hope you got something out of it. I know this one was a little bit more of a serious one, the do's and the don'ts and the expectations and all that. So I hope it wasn't too preachy for you. But, this is real life. And it has changed thousands and thousands of you guys' life out there, including my own. My life is totally different than it would have been if I would have never met Tanya. And that's why I really want to tell that story, because yeah, it's about that expectations. It's about your mindset when you're at that place. So keep that in mind. All right. I think that I will not be here next time because I don't think they're going to let me back. But whoever is here, probably Anna will take care of you, I'm sure. It probably won't be so preachy, but it will be fun. It will be wonderful. And ask all your questions and she will answer them. All right, guys? And come see us at the seminars, though, guys. We'd love to see you there. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.
The venue is not going to be bigger.
Oh, okay.
But there's going to be more crowd. It's basically like in the basement.
Basement?
Yeah, it's like a bomb shelter and a club at the same time.
Stay there all night.
Yeah, we can stay there all night.
schedule here. We can walk you through the city, show the nearest nice restaurants, where to buy flowers, where to exchange money if you need. Plus the social in the evening, it's 4 blocks from here. So I'll meet you downstairs.
We get like a bus or something, we're gonna walk.
We're gonna walk 4 blocks. Let's just get a fresh air. There are some girls right next to the cafe already, look.
Oh yeah, I see. I've always wanted to see Ukraine, and it's a beautiful, beautiful country. I also came to meet some very beautiful women. I didn't have a lot of expectation. I just wanted to come and enjoy myself, like a vacation, really. I didn't expect to meet the lady of my life, but I think I have.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
From their architecture, their doctors, their makeup artists, they're from different parts, and they're really serious to make a relation.
You were late.
Yes.
You had only 15 minutes of the social, but you managed to take, 16 numbers for that 15 minutes?
Yes. Even if this is war situation, there's less guys and more ladies. They are wanting to meet a man, so they're like hurrying up. So it's a good sign that you get to know more girls, you know.
I was nervous, very nervous. Going up to ladies and just talking, to them, is a little complicated for me, but it got easier as the night went on, and they're all very warm and welcoming, and it was fun. We have a translator to help us facilitate our conversations. It was wonderful.
On the social, for 2 hours when you come in, we're going to keep music low. We want you to talk to the girls. We expecting from 80 up to 130 girls on a social. 80 to 130. Plus, we have the social till 8 p.m. So after the social, you still can go on a date with one of the ladies that you're going to meet. If you really like her, invite her for the dinner. So this is Deribasovskaya Street. If you have dates or something on Deribasovskaya, this is the perfect way to go. 2 blocks here and straight there. After 2 blocks, there will be a sign. There will be no cars anymore, and they're going to be a walking street. We have recommended restaurants that we checked with a good pricing, nice area, centrally located. And we have restaurants that you need to avoid, unfortunately, in Odessa. When they will hear that you're foreigner, they will give you an overpriced menu. Sometimes it's going to be triple. Sometimes it's going to be more than that. So we highly recommend you to avoid that list and stick with the one on the top. And if the girl says that she insists to go to one of those restaurants, you just immediately call us and it's like, hey, she wants to take me to that restaurant. Anna, talk to her or cut it out there. Like, okay, I was recommended to go to those restaurants, pick the restaurant from the top and let's go to any. If the girl doesn't want to go to pick from the 25 restaurants, she doesn't want to pick any and she really insists to go with you to overpriced restaurant, it means that she might have a kickback. On another hand, sometimes girls, they don't know it. Like, I didn't know it before I started working. And when I checked in, I was like, oh, I had lunch in this restaurant and then that one. And there was totally normal price for me. If you go on a date with interpreter have to check where you go as well. Even if there will be a normal restaurant and everything, you just ask your interpreter, hey, can you double check their bill? If everything fine. So there is Walking Street, McDonald's on the left, KFC on the right. McDonald's actually much better in Ukraine than in the United States.
Yeah, but now it's got the restored.
They close it? It's not fair.
They're gonna be about 150. Like,
bigger venue too?
the venue is not gonna be bigger.
Oh, okay.
But they're gonna be more crowd. But it's basically like in a basement. Like,
Basement?
yeah, it's like a bomb shelter and a club at the same time.
Stay there all night.
Yeah, we can stay there all night.
Well, I'm curious to see how the Kyiv women are different from Odessa women. I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference, really.
It will be a little difference. You will see it.
my place, my love, I think it would be more abroad because they're more gentlemen, they are caring, they value us.
There was almost twice as many ladies in Kyiv, and they were just as friendly, and well, actually they were more friendly. I don't know how far I should go into this, but I tell you what, I had to go hide in a corner to get away from them. They were just so beautiful, and they kept coming up. I talked to one, and when we were finished, I'd turn around, there'd be 5 right there just waiting to talk to me, and that was just such a flattering and complimentary experience. Yeah, I've never had that before.
Before you see profile on our website, it usually takes about 2-3 weeks for them to be on the website, because we're verifying the information, we're taking video of every lady, we're taking ID of every lady, we're checking them as much as possible. 3 teams in different countries working on checking every profile. Our girls talking to them, explaining what is our website about, but we cannot get in the head of every girl. So sometimes, you know, when you take interpreter for 2 hours after the social, even if she's telling you, hey, you know, I have a friend, she's going to translate for free, say no, thank you, but I like my interpreter, I'll take Irina with me. Irina going to make sure that, you know, for 2 hours of her work, $30 plus 25, what is it, $55? You're not gonna go to an expensive restaurant, you're not gonna go to a shopping thing or something, and you're gonna be safe at the hotel. Easy, $55 can save you a lot.
My first recommendation for whoever sitting in the couch right, let us come here and experience the social and see the ladies face to face and talk to them, get to know them, so you can have a first-hand experience. Then you never know who is gonna be your future wife, you know.
Because I went downstairs when the social was full and there's like lots of ladies, and I lost my clients in the middle of the girls, and I saw the interpreters, ladies, and everyone, and my clients were like, oh my gosh, so many girls. They were coming in 2 hours, like, and it's too much. It's too much, it's too many ladies, I don't know.
I think it's no other place in Kyiv which was so many ladies at this time.
Why you decided to join our website from the beginning?
I'm looking for a man, for a great man, for me, for our future family.
And most of our guys on the website, they're from abroad. So are you ready to move abroad?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You're from Kyiv originally?
I was born in Kyiv. I live here all my life.
You're not just joining some dating company, you're joining a family. And even after you meet the lady, they will help you with any questions that you have. I mean, it goes like that. They're honest, they're true, and they really are looking out for your best interest.
How long you were on our website, Albert?
Like maybe 3 years, something like
3 years?
Yes, something like this.
3 years, guys, did you hear that? Alexander, 3 years on our dating website, and you are still writing letters and didn't come